So you're working really hard when you practice, but you're not seeing the results that you want, or you just want to know what the best way to practice is, or what you can do while practicing to make sure you get the maximum results. Well, in today's video, I'm going to be going over an idea that can help you take your training from here to here and get the best possible results from it. Hey, what's up guys? Dave here from SimplySoccer, where we help you to improve your game and stand out on the pitch. And on this channel, we release daily soccer tips, technique, and training videos. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So today we're going to go over an idea that is from the book Peak, which I have here by Anders Ericsson and Robert Poole, who are some of the leading experts in the field of expertise. Now, I'm going to leave a link to this book in the description because I think it's just a great book for any athlete to read, or really anyone who's trying to become a high-level person in their field. And I'm going to describe an idea they go over in this book, which I think can apply to soccer players very well in order to make sure you're getting the most out of your training. And the idea is going to sound so simple, but I'm going to explain what I mean when I say it. And the idea is to make sure that you are engaged fully when you're doing your training. And I'm going to read a passage or a couple passages from the book for you so you can get an idea of this. And one of them is, whatever you are doing, focus on it. Learning to engage in this way, consciously developing and refining your skills, is one of the most powerful ways to improve the effectiveness of your practice. So they actually go over an example of a very famous female swimmer who's actually won 12 Olympic medals, Natalie Coughlin. And this is what they say about her practicing. They said, instead of letting her mind wander, she could be focusing on her technique, trying to make each stroke as close to perfect as possible. In particular, she could be working on sharpening her mental representations with each stroke. And then later down on the page, it says, excellence in every detail becomes a firmly ingrained habit. So I'm going to bring this all together for you and explain it in simpler terms, but here's the last passage I want to read you. And it's, focus and concentration are crucial. So shorter training sessions with clearer goals are the best way to develop new skills fast. It is better to train at 100% effort for less time than at 70% effort for a longer period. Once you find you can no longer focus effectively, end the session and make sure you get enough sleep so that you can train with maximum concentration. So what does this all mean? Well, when you look at engagement and what it means, it's such a simple concept when you think about it, but think to when you're practicing and try and think of how much do you actually engage, how much are you actually present, how much are you actually focusing on every single thing you're doing and analyzing it when you're practicing. And after reading this, I actually tried to, or started paying attention to how much I was, and I was really surprised about how much I was daydreaming or thinking about other stuff as I was just going through the motions of training. So what I did is I adjusted my level of thinking, or what I was thinking about during my training. I started only focusing on what I was doing. So if I was dribbling, I was focusing on each and every single touch. If I took a bad touch, then I could recognize what happened and what went wrong. I could analyze it. I was focusing on my training instead of thinking about anything else, which I was very surprised to find I was doing for like 50% of my training. And we actually go back to the example of Natalie Coughlin, the swimmer. I hope I'm pronouncing her last name right. But we'll go back to her example, and it said that she used to train when she was swimming in the pool, and she would just do laps. And she would do lap after lap after lap. But in order to pass the time and make it not as boring, she used to daydream. And she found that this was actually affecting how much she was improving. It was making her not as good as she could be. And she said that once she decided to focus every single pretty much second of her practice on how good her stroke was and trying to improve it every single stroke and really focusing on being excellent at every mechanical thing that she was doing, at every practice she was doing, that's when she started to become a world-class swimmer. And it even said that Natalie Coughlin, when she was younger, didn't really show signs of someone who was going to go on to be a top-level swimmer who gets 12 Olympic medals, which is an incredibly impressive achievement. You know, most athletes will never go through that in their career. She's within the 1% of the 1% of swimmers in that regard. But because she started focusing more on her training instead of daydreaming or her mind being elsewhere, she was able to analyze what she was doing. She was able to fix even the small things she was doing wrong to perfect her stroke, to get the most out of her stroke. And in a sport like swimming, where even a second can make a difference, it really benefited her. And there are many ways to apply this to soccer. So when you're training, make sure that you engage. And one way I just help myself to kind of snap myself back into this is to literally scream in my mind, engage. Engage, engage, engage. If I find myself daydreaming, I just think engage. And I think back to this example and I go, okay, focus. Focus on what you're doing right now. You can worry about all the other stuff later. So, for example, maybe I have to make a Simply Soccer video and I'm thinking about that while I'm training. I'll say engage, and instead I'll be fully there in the moment while I'm doing those drills. I'll be focusing on my touches. If I'm kicking it against a wall, I'll be focusing on my first touch. And I found that when I do that, if I take a bad touch, I'm way more aware of what happened. I go, oh, okay, that's why this happened, right? And then I can correct it and I can fix it. This is going to help you get better so much more faster if you're, instead of just going through the motions, because you can start challenging yourself more. You can start taking better touches. You'll start dribbling more effectively because you're going to be aware of what you're doing wrong. You're going to be aware of what you're doing right. You're going to be right there, present in the moment every single time you're practicing. So next time you're practicing, remember, engage, be there fully in the moment. And you can test this out for yourself. Next time you go out and practice, notice when you're daydreaming. Notice when you're thinking of something that's not involved right here in the moment, right now while you're training. You'll be surprised how often you do this. Okay guys, so this is such an important idea. I want you, for the question of the day, to let me know down in the comments, do you find yourself distracted or daydreaming while you're practicing? And let me know if what you're going to tell yourself to keep yourself engaged in the moment so that you can be more focused and get more out of your training. Alright guys, and remember, you can pick up the book Peak, which I really recommend you do, by clicking on the first link in the description, which will take you over to the page where you can get it. There's so much good stuff in this book about how to become an expert and, a great performer in your field, which in this case is soccer, so I definitely recommend you pick it up. It's one of the most informative books I've read to date. Alright guys, so thank you so much for watching. Share this video with as many people as you can, because I think this is such an important idea for not just soccer, but for any area or field that someone is in. Make sure you subscribe if you're new and you like this video as well. Make sure you come back at 5 p.m. tomorrow for a brand new video, and I'm going to have 2 videos come up on the screen now for you so you can learn even more. And remember, here at Simply Soccer, we are helping you to improve your game and stand out on the pitch. Make sure you get your copy of Peak. You become a peak performer, and I'll see you on the next video.